In August 2025, the world witnessed a moment that could change the course of history. Donald Trump, back in the White House, hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. It was the first US-Russia summit since the war in Ukraine began, and the world held its breath. Would this be the meeting that finally ended the bloodshed, or the one that reshaped global politics forever? The choice of Alaska was symbolic. Halfway between Russia and America, but close enough to remind the world of Cold War tensions. Cameras flashed as Trump and Putin shook hands. Supporters called it a bold step toward peace, while critics called it dangerous. Behind closed doors, Trump promised he could end the war in one day. But after hours of talks, no ceasefire was announced, no treaty was signed. And yet, Putin walked out smiling. Why was Putin smiling? Experts say he didn't need a deal. Just standing next to Trump on American soil was already a victory. For years, Putin had been isolated by the West, but the Alaska summit gave him legitimacy, weakened Western unity, and showed his people back home that Russia was not alone. Trump framed the meeting as a step toward peace, saying negotiations would continue. But many analysts fear this peace could mean freezing the conflict, letting Russia keep occupied land while forcing Ukraine to accept defeat. In Kiev, President Zelensky called it a betrayal. Peace without Ukraine is not peace. It is surrender. Reactions across the West were explosive. In London, officials warned it sent the wrong signal to dictators everywhere. In Brussels, EU leaders rushed into emergency talks. And NATO allies worried if Trump moved closer to Russia, what would it mean for the future of the alliance? But the suspense goes deeper. China is watching closely, seeing opportunities if the West looks divided. Energy markets are unstable, food prices are rising, and ordinary families in both Europe and America are asking, is this summit bringing peace or more chaos? The truth is Putin may have left Alaska stronger than before. He showed the world that Russia still has a seat at the table. Trump showed that he is willing to deal directly with Moscow. And Ukraine, the country at the center of it all, was left out of the room. So, what really happened in Alaska? Was it the start of peace talks or a diplomatic victory for Putin? The answer remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, the Alaska Summit 2025 is not just about Ukraine. It is about global power, shifting alliances, and the fragile future of democracy. This summit did not end the war, but it might have just reshaped the battlefield. Whether that leads to peace or to something far more dangerous is a question the world will soon discover. And here is the suspenseful reality. History will remember this meeting not for the agreements it produced, but for the doors it opened. Doors that could lead to peace or to an even darker conflict.